This is my first post on here, and I guess I'm a little nervous. I've been stewing about this story for some time now, and I want to get it out. So the title sounds pretty terrible. I know. My husband and I met when we were in high school. We started dating freshman year and continued dating throughout. We had a very volatile relationship. He abused his prescription medication Ritalin, had suicidal and depressive tendencies. Got jealous easily and often, but I thought he needed me to care for him. I thought he was special and that I could turn his life around. He told me I saved his life, and I believed it. We got engaged when we were 18 and got married when we were 20. We were both working full-time and trying to save up enough money to move to Oregon, where he could finish his degree and I would do something. There was a year after the wedding that I was working 2 full-time jobs. I would work from 7 a.m. 3 p.m. at one job and 4 p.m. to midnight at another. He was working a night position, so we rarely saw each other. We would spend a few hours during the weekend together, usually drinking, but we fell into this habit of independence. One of my jobs was at a grocery store, and I had a few regular customers that would come in. I became familiar with a few of them, but one of them created a different reaction in me. He was tall, endearing, quiet. He had these brown eyes and this low voice that just pierced through me whenever I looked at him. His presence was electric to me. My heart would beat faster if he was even in the store. I would ring up his items without even looking at them, and breathlessly have these charged mini conversations. After a few months of seeing this guy come through the store, we'll call him T, we got friendlier. He asked for my number every time he came through. He hid his wedding band when we talked. He wanted to see what my husband looked like. He gave me pointers on job searches I had. He came 3-4 times a week after his workout at the gym, and occasionally on the weekend he would come in with his wife. Sometimes he only bought one thing and didn't want to go to any of the other cashiers. After a year of telling him I'm married, we can't be friends, I can't give you my number, etc., I decided to quit that job. I told him I was quitting, and I gave him my number. I reiterated that we would only be friends. That did not work. We met up for coffee and talked every day. We started going to the gym together. After 3 months of being friends, we took it too far. We were together in a way that I had only been with my husband. We snuck around and were having fun together. I was happy with him. He came to my house while my husband was at work, saying that his wife was leaving him, and he brought cocaine. We had a pretty fun night, and he went home before 3 a.m. He called me at 4:30 a.m. from the jail. I was passed out and heard the voicemail in the morning. His wife had gone through his phone, they got in a fight, and she called the police. He had prior assault charges, and his bail wasn't posted yet. With the help of one of his friends, I was able to get the bail money and get him out. I brought him to his sister's hotel and visited him every night. I held him every night while he cried, worried about losing his kids, worried about being locked up for the rest of his life. He asked me to buy him a gun. He was worried about the police coming after him again. He didn't want to go down if there was a firefight. It made sense to me, so I did. I got him a 9mm. One night, 2 days before his court hearing, he asked me to stay. He asked me to leave my husband and just stay with him. I told him I couldn't. He knows I couldn't. I felt terrible leaving him that night, but I couldn't ruin things further. He told me there's no way he's going to jail. He was possibly facing a 20-year sentence. He said he was going to run or go far away. The day of his court hearing, I told him I loved him. He told me he was leaving. He told me that he's never loved anyone like me before and that it hurt, but this is the only way. The next day I got a call from his sister. She said that he committed suicide. I was at work, and I remember I collapsed on the ground, crying, screaming. I couldn't walk more than a few steps at a time as sobs tore through my chest. I left work and drove to my friend's work. Let's call him. He asked me what was wrong. I said, you're going to hate me. But I told him the whole story. His wife hunted me. The police called to ask me questions. I sobbed into some of the things he gave me. I wrote him letters and talked to his obituary as if he was still alive. I became even more distant from my husband, refusing to spend time with him sober. He checked up on me, and we became closer than we were before. After 2 months of grieving, I drunkenly asked him if he loved me. He did, and I asked him to be with me. He wanted to. After another month, he asked, when are you going to leave your husband for me? I told him I can't do that. But that phrase stuck with me. I wasn't happy, I wasn't secure in any way. I was so young, 22 at the time, and nothing made sense anymore. But at least I have a place to live, and a job. I can't leave, or can I? The depression racked through me. I didn't want to spend time with my husband. Almost 4 months after T's death, my husband and I got terribly drunk and got into a fight. He wanted to know what had changed in me. I told him to sit down. He immediately knew. You cheated on me. He called me sexist slurs and cried. He broke his phone and threw things at me. I told him I'm leaving. I'm sorry. He demanded to know who it was. He's dead now, so it doesn't matter. I went to A's house. It was 3 in the morning and all I had was a bag. I stayed with him for a couple months, feeling everything fraying around me. He cheated on me while I was attending my grandfather's funeral. He said I didn't love you like I thought I did, so I left again. I was living in my car in a different city, working at a different job. I eventually was able to rent a house. The job situation improved, and I adjusted to spending my time alone. I didn't have the money for the divorce yet, but I made it clear that was my intention. I was alone for the first time. I made plans with a friend of mine to go to a concert in Big City with him. It was a band that we had both been fans of for some time. I was single now, I could go wherever I wanted, so I did. At the concert, I became transfixed by the vocalist. He was stunning, beautiful, down to earth, genuine. We talked after the show. I got blackout drunk on accident, and he took care of me the whole night, making sure that I was able to get to my friend's house okay. He messaged me the next morning. We talked and talked and talked. We kept talking after I went home. After a couple months I went to visit him. After a few more months, he moved in with me. We have been together for almost 2 years now. He knows everything, and he doesn't judge me for it. He is the kindest, most patient, spontaneous person I've ever known. I love him more than I've loved anyone else. We never fight, our disagreements are few and fleeting. We spend all our time together laughing and holding each other. When I look in his eyes, I know he cares about me just as much as I care about him. We cook meals for each other, and communicate everything we are feeling. I've never gotten along with anyone like I get along with him. I never tire of his company. In the amount of time we've been living together, we can't even go more than 2 days without being intimate, and he is the best I've had. I've grown as a person because of him. I've stopped drinking so much, started meditating, became more whole. He supported and inspired me to be the best person I can be. I started painting again, and I have goals and dreams that I never even considered previously. He is my favorite person ever, and I hope to be in his life for as long as possible. If I had been with my husband, I never would have been able to meet this wonderful human being. I'm glad.